Okay, so here is our first example for loans. So I'm going to put our loan formula up here at the top. It's PO equals D 1 minus 1 plus RK, and then negative NK. Don't forget that. This piece I usually like to do separately, so I just have a little bit less going on. And then all divided by RK. So when I'm looking at any problem, I'm looking to figure out, what do I have? What do I need? And then writing everything that I do have. So Marie can afford a monthly payment of $250. So that's my D. That's my payment, how much I'm doing. A bank offers a 60-month loan. 60 months is 5 years. Okay, so I've got my N is 5. And again, N is going to be in years. And then R is 0.07. If I've got the rate, divide by 100 to get that decimal. And then how much can she afford to finance? What is this asking? Well, hold on. If we're paying monthly, let's figure out if we have anything else, monthly payments. So K is 12 as well. So we are asking for what can that loan amount be? How much car can she afford? And this is going to come really in handy on your finance project. How much can you afford? All right, so we put all that in. I'm going to do PO. I'm going to use the same formula I had up top. And I'm just going to start filling in what I've marked. So PO equals parenthesis 250, parenthesis 1 minus 1 plus R K to the negative NK, all divided by R over K. Okay. So then in terms of the calculator, let's grab that out. Okay, so on my calculator, I'm going to go ahead and type all this in. So where you see parentheses is where you need to have them. So parenthesis 250, parenthesis 1 minus, parenthesis 1 plus 0.07 divided by 12, close parentheses, raised, and I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses negative 60 here. And then I've got 2 more parentheses to go, divided by 0.07 divided by 12. Notice I put all the parentheses where they have parentheses in the formula, and I get 12,625 and 50 cents. All right, so if you have a different calculator, here's how you typed it all in. Parenthesis 250, 1 minus 1 plus 0.07 divided by 12, caret negative 60. And again, I'm just following all of these, divided by 0.07 divided by 12. And there we go. You can always do it piece by piece too. So you can afford to finance $12,625.50. So here's the question though, how much money are you actually paying the loan company? So if we think about that, it's what you're paying monthly times the number of months in a year times the number of years. That's the number of payments you're making. So if for 5 years, you're making 12 payments a year, you're making 60. And then if your monthly payment is 250, well, you're making 250 60 times. So you are paying the loan company $15,000. The difference of that would be your interest payment. So your interest would be the amount that you actually paid minus the amount you financed. Okay, so make sure to grab all that. So in other words, the total minus the loan amount, make sure that you do it so it's not negative. And that will end up being 2,324.50. All right, so that is example 1. Example 2, make sure you're trying it before I go over it all. Pause if you still need to see this one. Okay. All right, Lynn buys a $300,000 home, pays 10% down, finances the rest for 30 years. What's the loan going to be? Well, the first part is just what are you going to the bank and asking for? You're not asking for $300,000 because you're subtracting 10% that you're putting down. Don't borrow more than you need. So you're putting down $30,000. So don't borrow it if you don't have to. And so you are borrowing $270,000. So this is price, down payment. All right, so that's also important. Just because the house says it's $300,000 doesn't mean that you're financing it all. You might have some type of down payment to put. All right, let's figure out Lynn's monthly payments. So her PO, the amount she's borrowing, is that $270,000. Her R is a 6% rate for 30 years. And then monthly payments, okay, is 12. So we have to figure out what this is going to look like. Same if you have a car. You're going to work backwards to figure out, well, what are my payments going to be if I take this loan? Okay. So our equation is PO, the amount you're borrowing, okay, I've got my whole equation. Every time it's just helpful to write it. And now I'm going to put in those pieces. But first, what I can do is I can actually separate the D out and make this its own section. Okay. And then I can divide all that over by my PO. So before I do that, I'll go ahead and fill it in, and then I'll mention again what I'm talking about. So 270,000 equals D. I'm going to move D out. 1 minus 1 plus R K to the negative N K. And I've dropped one set of parentheses because I got rid of the D. All over R K. And then I'm going to figure out what this is. And if you're not sure about the parentheses, open, open, close, close, open, close. So I'm going to come over to my calculator and put all that in. And I'm going to get some answer. Okay, let's grab all that. 1 minus 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12. Raised to the, at this one, I'm going to go ahead and do in the calculator, just in case. Double, double, divided by 0.06 divided by 12. And let's get that answer. So that's 166.79, on and on and on. All right, so 270 equals, what was our number? 166.7916 times D, because I took all that piece, and I can do that because multiplication, you can switch your order. So now I'm going to divide by that 166.7916. Okay, so 270,123 divided by that whole thing. I'm going to avoid rounding until the very end. And then that's my monthly payment for that house. So that gives me 1618.79 per month as my payment. And again, I had to use a little algebra to be able to get that done. So then, how much interest is she going to pay over the life of the loan? Let's figure that part out. Let's grab that piece. So how much interest is she going to pay over the life of the loan? That's always the big one. So she is paying $16.18 per month payment times months in a year. And she's paying it 12 times a year times number of years. And she is paying this for 30 years. So 1618 times 0.79 times 7 times 30 is what she pays the bank. 582,764.40. That's amount paid. I did that piece there, so now we can do interest. So it's a total amount paid minus loan amount. Okay, so she paid 582,764.40, and she borrowed 270. So in interest, she pays 312,764.40. So that's interest paid. And yes, your loans, your housing loans can work like this depending on interest and how long you do them. All right, next one. Is example 3. Okay, so Diamond bought a $4,000 furniture on credit. Credit score is not good. They're paying her 12.5 to finance. If she agrees to pay it off, what's her monthly payment? Very common question. You know, what is your monthly payment going to be? So her PO is 4,000. Her R is 0.125. And this 3K is 12. And we need D. So we need the monthly payment. Okay. So if we come over here to our PO equals D, 1 minus 1 plus RK negative NK all over RK. Now we can fill it in. And again, we're doing D. So I'm going to separate this out and do it as a separate piece and then divide it over. So I'm going to do 4,000 equals D. 1 minus 1 plus. Okay. And once I get that, I'm going to divide it into 4,000. So let's get that number in our calculator. Hopefully you're doing it with me. So it's going to be 1 minus 1 plus 0.125 divided by 12. Caret button. So I do the 1, then divided by 0.125 divided by 12. And ta-da. So that's what that piece should be. Now I'm going to take my 4,000 and divide it by that number. Okay. So the monthly payment ends up being $133.81. And then the question is, how much did she actually pay? And then how much interest? So actually pay would be that monthly payment times number of months times number of years. So D, K, N. So she ends up paying $4,817.16. That's the amount paid. So then interest is amount paid minus amount borrowed. So it's the $817.16. All right. And then the rest of these will be on a different video.